Speaking of people who have power over your life and also don't deserve power over your life, there's a new book that is coming out titled Laptop from Hell, Hunter Biden, Big Tech, and the Dirty Secrets the President Tried to Hide by a New York Post columnist named Miranda Devine. She says, while Joe Biden waged war on white privilege from the White House, his own family was the living embodiment of the worst of it. Joe has always made sure the Bidens lived a life of unearned privilege and entitlement under his beneficent patronage. Like members of a hereditary aristocracy, the Bidens would have access to the best America can give, the most prestigious educational institutions, internships, clerkships, scholarships, directorships, and government sinecures. Decades ago, the president decided that Hunter Biden would act as the family's cash cow, says Devine. Hunter, who would have preferred to be an artist or a writer, was assigned the role of paying the bills for the rest of the family through lucrative grace and favor jobs and sweetheart deals facilitated by Joe's network of connections in Delaware and later throughout the world. In addition to records from his missing laptop showing Hunter held 10% of a Chinese business deal for the big guy, Devine quotes an email Hunter wrote to his oldest daughter, Naomi, in 2019, quote, I hope you can all do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary. Hunter later allegedly complained to his aunt, who raised him after his mother's tragic death, that although Joe Biden co-signed student loans for Hunter and Beau, he expected Hunter to pay off both loans. Dad never paid one dime, Hunter wrote in an email, according to the book. Devine says she found evidence that Joe Biden benefited from Hunter's deals in multiple emails, such as one concerning JRB bills. In another email, detailed by Devine, dated April 12, 2018, Hunter gets locked out of one of his Wells Fargo accounts because, quote, my dad has been using most lines on this account, which I've, through the gracious offerings of Eric Schwerin, a close family advisor, have paid for the past 11 years. When Schwerin writes about the amount of money in my account, his scare quotes imply its contents belong to him in name only. So, in other words, the Biden family has been engaged in a grift in which they used Hunter as basically their cutout for years and years and years and years. And these are the politicians that we trust. They're all grifters. So many of them are grifters. On all sides of the aisle, by the way. But the notion from the media is that you ought to, again, give them more and more and more trust. They're not disconnected from the American public. By the way, speaking of being disconnected from the American public, just want to note quickly, Pete Buttigieg, who Democrats are now touting as a possible replacement for Kamala Harris, should Joe Biden go down before 2024. Pete Buttigieg yesterday, man of the people, Pete Buttigieg from South Bend, Indiana, who can afford to take 2 months of paternity leave based on the grave physical harms experienced by him and his spouse during the birth of their child. He needed paternity leave for 2 months in the middle of a supply chain crisis. We were all supposed to not notice. And now Pete Buttigieg has such sympathy for the American people that he says you shouldn't worry so much about gas prices. After all, you can buy electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, by the way, are going for like $40,000, $50,000 a pop. If you, just families, got that lying around. Sure, Pete. Makes perfect sense.
Most of the physical infrastructure work was contemplated in the bill that was just signed, but there is more envisioned in the Build Back Better law. I'll give you one example. It contains incentives to make it more affordable to buy an electric vehicle, up to a $12,500 discount in effect for families thinking about getting an EV. Families that once they own that electric vehicle will never have to worry about gas prices again.
Well, I mean, if you buy an electric vehicle, you'll never have to worry about gas again. Sure, you're driving a beat-up 1997 Honda Civic, and you're just attempting to get to work, and you're making $45,000 a year. But for that entire salary, and a little bit, you could probably get an electric vehicle. I mean, sure, you wouldn't be able to feed your family this year, but you could get an electric vehicle, according to Pete Buttigieg. These are the folks you have elected. These are the folks you have decided to put in charge of your life. I know what you're thinking. It's time to binge some more Ben Shapiro videos. Well, you are right. You should. But first, like and subscribe. Perfect. I'll see you in the next video.